Hello friends, welcome to a new episode of Drishti IAS Editorial Analysis. In this editorial analysis, we do three things. First of all, we link the editorial to the UPSC syllabus. Secondly, we try to understand the key points of the editorial. And thirdly, if any key concepts have come in the editorial and are important from exam point of view, we also discuss them. So let us begin today's editorial analysis.
Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
We have taken today's editorial from the Hindu and it has appeared on 28th of September. The title of the editorial is Salutary Lesson and it says that the Vodafone case shows why India should not undermine the faith of foreign investors. Now let's look at its linkage with the syllabus. So it links with both GS Paper 2 and GS Paper 3, where it directly links with international treaties and agreements, liberalization, industrial growth, and dispute redressal mechanisms. So after establishing the linkage with the UPSC syllabus, now let's look at its key points. So before moving on to the key points of the editorial, let us understand what the issue is all about. So basically this case has been known as the Vodafone tax case. And this started in 2007 when the British mobile company Vodafone decided to enter the lucrative Indian mobile phone services market. And for that, it decided to buy out the Indian operations of Hutchison Whampoa, the Hong Kong-based company. Now, the Indian operations of Hutchison Whampoa were owned by a subsidiary of this company based out of Cayman Islands, which is a very well-known international financial center and a tax haven. So many companies use Cayman Islands to register their companies for tax benefits. And here we should also know that Cayman Islands is located in the Caribbean Sea. Now Vodafone bought the company through its Netherlands-based subsidiary. And that is why the arbitration award that has come now has been decided by an arbitration tribunal based out of The Hague. Now this Netherlands-based subsidiary of Vodafone bought the Cayman Islands-based company of Hutchison Whampoa, which was owning the Indian operations. And all this transaction involved India, but it was not happening in India. So the Indian tax authorities raised tax demand on Vodafone of $3.79 billion. And this original deal of Vodafone buying the Indian operations of Hutchison was worth $11 billion. The tax demand by the Indian authorities was $2 billion and the rest of the amount was made up of penalties and other dues. After this, Vodafone moved court and the Supreme Court of India decided in its favor in 2012 that no tax was due to the Indian authorities for this transaction, which did not take place within India. But after that decision of the Supreme Court, the Government of India changed the tax laws with retrospective effect in 2012. And after this, Vodafone moved for international arbitration at The Hague. And now this international arbitration has resulted in a verdict again in favor of Vodafone. And this has also led to reputation loss for the Indian government and also for India as a destination for foreign investment. So here we should be clear about this term retrospective taxation, which is basically at the center of this Vodafone tax controversy. So this retrospective taxation allows a country to pass a rule on taxing certain products, items, services and deals and charge companies from a time behind the date on which the law is passed. So there was no tax liability when the transaction took place, but the country passes a law which makes the transaction liable for taxation with retrospective effect. So that is what is retrospective taxation. And many countries use this route to correct any anomalies in their taxation policies that have in the past allowed companies to take advantage of such loopholes. Now this retrospective taxation hurts companies that had knowingly or unknowingly interpreted the tax rules differently. And apart from India, many countries, including the US, UK, Netherlands, Canada, Belgium, Australia, and Italy, have retrospectively taxed companies. But still, this is a practice that should not become a norm. So, after this basic background of this case, now let us look at the key points of the editorial. So, the editorial says that Vodafone Group has won yet another round in its 13-year-long battle with India's tax authorities, when on September 25th, an international arbitration tribunal has ruled that the Indian government's efforts to claim more than 20,000 crore in tax, including related interest and penalties from Vodafone using retrospective tax laws, was in clear breach of the fair and equitable treatment protections afforded under Article 4, Clause 1 of the Bilateral Investment Treaty between India and the Netherlands. Though Vodafone is a UK-based company, but the Indian operations were bought by the Netherlands-based subsidiary of Vodafone, and that is why the Bilateral Investment Treaty between India and the Netherlands came into effect in this case. Now, this ruling upholding the British multinational stand must stand India's protected and often perverse pursuit of what at the very outset was a highly contentious claim. So the editorial wants to say that to begin with, the claim raised against Vodafone by the Indian tax authorities was not on solid grounds. It seemed like an afterthought, and it has only tarnished India's reputation in front of foreign investors. Even India's Supreme Court ruled in Vodafone's favor, but still the Indian government went for further litigation. Now, the sequence of events of this case. So the dispute began in September 2007 when the tax authorities served a demand on Vodafone International Holdings BV for a tax that it said Vodafone's Dutch unit ought to have withheld while acquiring the controlling stake in the erstwhile Hutchison SR Limited from Hutchison Telecommunications Internationals Limited. Secondly, since the stake purchase transaction took place outside India between two overseas entities, one based out of the Netherlands and the other based out of Cayman Islands. And because of this, Vodafone was emphatic from the very start that it was not liable for any tax relating to this deal. And Vodafone's case was upheld by the Supreme Court, which ruled in its favor in 2012. But after this verdict by the Supreme Court, the Government of India made a very contentious move by amending the tax legislation to give retrospective effect to its claims, and this was the trigger for the UK-based company to seek arbitral recourse. And now the award of that arbitration has come, where Vodafone's case has been upheld. But the editorial further says that there are no winners in this case, because for Vodafone, the legal win is a small consolation because it had spent $11 billion for acquiring the 67% stake in Hutchison SR. But in November 2019, due to the difficulties of the Indian telecom market, it had to write down the book value of its Indian holdings to zero. And though Vodafone has since then merged with Idea in India, and subsequently its 44 million subscribers in 2007 have grown on to 305 million users, but there have been continued losses in the face of intense competition and unviable tariffs in the Indian telecom market. And not just this, the telecom companies are also facing another problem in the form of adjusted gross revenue, the definition of which has been in litigation for long. And now the Supreme Court in this AGR issue has decided in favor of the government, and this makes the telecom companies, including Vodafone, liable for a huge payment to the government. And all of this makes Vodafone's wariness to commit more equity or to bring more money to the Indian venture that much more unlikely. We'll see this AGR issue in some detail in the key concept section. Further, the editorial says that the government must not seek to litigate the matter any further, and it should bring this tax dispute to a close now, because the cost of doing otherwise will be high for the government and for India as a destination for foreign investment. That too at a time when the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, spares no opportunity to woo foreign investment to India. And a case like Vodafone tax case that involves retrospective taxation is not a good advertisement for India as a destination for foreign investment. Finally, the editorial says that any failure to learn a salutary lesson from this loss would only serve to undermine overseas investors' faith in India's commitment to international treaties and to the rule of law, both of which should not be done. Finally, India needs to craft a meaningful and clear dispute resolution mechanism in cross-border transactions to prevent such disputes from going to international courts and also save the cost and time expenditure involved in that. For this, it is important that India improves the arbitration ecosystem, which will also have a positive impact on the ease of doing business. So this was all in the key points of the editorial. Now let's look at some key concepts. So first of all, let's look at bilateral investment treaty and Vodafone case. So bilateral investment treaties are treaties between two countries which are aimed at protecting investments made by investors of both the countries. And on 6 November 1995, India and Netherlands had signed a bilateral investment treaty for promotion as well as protection of investment by companies of each country in the other's jurisdiction. And this BIT between India and Netherlands expired on 22nd September 2016. And in this Vodafone case, the Vodafone invoked BIT as its Dutch unit, Vodafone International Holdings BV, had bought the Indian business operations of Hutchison Telecommunication International Limited, and this made it a transaction between a Dutch firm and an Indian firm, and that is why the arbitration was done in The Hague in Netherlands. Now let's look at the model bilateral investment treaty which has been brought in by the government since 2016, and in this the government has narrowed the definition of investment which qualifies for bilateral investment treaty protection. And one of the shift is from asset-based to enterprise-based. In this model BIT, India has proposed a narrow enterprise-based definition for investment whereby only direct investments are protected under the treaty. Also, a negative list has been put in where the definition of investment in the model BIT contains a negative list which precludes portfolio investments, interest in debt securities, intangible rights, etc. from the definition of investment. So the new definition in the model bilateral investment treaty does not take into account the increased scope of foreign investments in the modern era of globalization and liberalization. And this is a cause for concern if India wants to attract more foreign investment. At the same time, in this model BIT, a clause has been added which mandates exhaustion of domestic remedies prior to initiating any international arbitration proceedings. And this also does little to increase the confidence among the foreign investors. So the government must rethink on this. Now let's look at this concept of arbitration. Now arbitration is a form of alternative dispute resolution, and it is a way to resolve disputes outside the courts. So the dispute in arbitration is decided by one or more persons who are known as arbitrators, arbiters, or arbitral tribunal, which renders the arbitration award, and an arbitration award is legally binding on both sides and also enforceable in the courts. An arbitration is often used for the resolution of commercial disputes, particularly in the context of international commercial transactions. Finally, let's look at adjusted gross revenue and the issue surrounding it. So, AGR or adjusted gross revenue is a fee sharing mechanism between the government and the telecom companies, who shifted to the revenue sharing fee model in 1999 from the fixed license fee model. And under this, the telecom companies are supposed to share a percentage of AGR with the government. But the issue has been about the definition of AGR, which has been under litigation for almost 14 years. In 2005, the Cellular Operators Association of India challenged the government's definition for AGR calculation. The Department of Telecommunication argued that AGR includes all revenues from both telecom and non-telecom services, while the telecom company said that AGR should include only the telecom services revenues and not dividend, interest income or profit on the sale of any investment or fixed assets. And this definition of AGR has been such a contentious issue because it has huge financial implications for both the telecom companies and the government. And after the Supreme Court's 2019 judgment, the telecom operators owe the government around Rs 92,000 crores in back charges, interest and penalties on license fee alone. And this October 2019 judgment of Supreme Court on AGR has pushed many telecom companies on the verge of bankruptcy. While the government has been deprived of the extra revenue, the financial implications for telecom companies who now have to pay overdue amounts piled up for years are serious too. And especially at current time when the profits for telcos are under pressure from severe competition and the falling average revenue per user, which is known as ARPU. So this was about the AGR issue. Now let's look at the kind of questions that can be asked in prelims and mains. So in prelims, the question can be asked about arbitration. So we should know that it is a mechanism for alternative dispute resolution. And the other mechanisms which come under ADR are mediation, conciliation, negotiation, etc. Now what are the pros of going for alternative dispute resolution mechanisms? They are more flexible, they are faster, and they avoid litigation. So all these are the benefits of going for ADR mechanisms. Question can also be asked about the Vodafone tax dispute case. So we should know that Vodafone is a UK based company, multinational, but the bilateral investment treaty involved in the case was between India and the Netherlands because the Indian operations of Hutch Telecom were bought by the Netherlands based subsidiary of Vodafone. And also a question can be asked about the retrospective taxation and what are the challenges surrounding it. Then question can also be asked about the adjusted gross revenue issue and why this is becoming such a pain for the Indian telecom sector. In mains, the question can be asked about the issue of tax terrorism, the impact on India as a foreign investment destination of cases like the Vodafone tax case, whether India should go for these kind of retrospective tax laws or not. So there can be arguments on both sides. Also question can be asked in mains about the model bilateral investment treaty framed by the government, what are its advantages, what are its disadvantages, and how India can become a good destination for foreign investors. So this was all in today's editorial analysis. We'll see you next time with another editorial. Thank you.